Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are. Welcome to No Clue Podcast. I am your host, Noah Valentine, and here's my co-host. Say something for us.
What up? It's Josh. I don't know why he gave his last name and his government like that, but
you guys are gonna find out the government.
You're not finding
anything out today, and that's kind of what we're gonna talk about. So we are the No Clue Podcast. The reason why we call ourselves No Clue is because we have no clue what the hell we're gonna talk about, and we just kind of get on here and decided we're just going to talk.
We didn't just get on here. It took us about a good 45 to 50 minutes to get on here just by getting the mics to set up. So shouts out to everyone who already has a podcast right now and is recording for funsies.
Big shouts out to them because, I'm not going to brag or anything, but we have master's degrees. And it took us a long time to figure out how to
an embarrassing long amount of time to get this stuff to work in the aggregate device. And it might not even work out now. Who knows who's going to hear it,
Yeah, I mean, we just decided we're going to talk like we normally do because we talk on the phone a lot. We've been boys since kindergarten, which is a rarity nowadays with everyone just
almost 30 years ago.
Almost since that birth, but we out here. And he's talking about us being 30, and that's the reason why we're doing the podcast because it's rough out here. If y'all could actually follow us and help us be able to do a podcast instead of having to go to our jobs, that'd be much appreciated.
Phenomenal. I love that.
Because this economy ain't working for us anymore. So
yeah, being 30, man, and plus you haven't hit 30 yet, but when you hit 30, it's like the new midlife crisis. Everyone's like, "Oh, you're 45, you're 50, you're picking up hobbies you never had before, you're doing all this stuff." But in the reality of things, we're probably gonna make it to 65, 70 years old. Tops.
Yeah.
So 30 is the new.
That's when they want us to actually do our retirement.
I'm dying in 6 years right after I retire. So it's new midlife crisis. Pick up the podcast equipment. Pick up the mic. Pick up the headphones. Start recording stuff. If 5 people listen to it, hey, that's 5 more people than you had before. So you might as well throw something out there. See if anyone can relate to the information being said. But
speaking of relating, I mean something good happened to us today. We went and got dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And for the first time in a long time, they actually asked us for our IDs.
Felt young.
She didn't even look at it very long. She was like, "Yeah, both y'all hair's receding. You got sadness in your eyes," and she kind of
yeah, you guys have given up on your dreams. We can see it in your face, so we can tell that you guys probably shouldn't be ID'd. But B-Dubs has a strict policy on IDing everyone. You can go to your local townie bar, no ID, and they're like, "I knew his daddy." But you go to B-Dubs, does not matter how old you are, they will card a 70-year-old in there.
I mean, it makes me feel good.
Yeah, I felt younger, but then I, ran my fingers through my hair and realized I probably shouldn't have been carded.
I think what really hit us was when we were looking around, back in the day,
when we
were in high school, we used to be able to put the wings down a lot easier.
Put the wings down. Put the wings down like a sick dog. We used to be able to do, and nowadays you can't do it. I'm hitting wing 18 on the BOGO buy deal, and I'm really contemplating if it's worth the stomach ache tomorrow going to work.
I got the hot barbecue because I do spicy, and now I'm thinking man, I'm gonna have heartburn tonight.
Things you don't think about.
My tummy's gonna hurt.
Exactly. You're out here after the wings thinking about what Tums you're gonna pop whenever you get back home.
I'm straight up I'm probably gonna have bubble guts.
Mm-hmm.
That's the worst to have in the middle of the night.
Bubble guts for the guy born in the 1900s. That's crazy.
No, I mean, look, I'm appreciative of my childhood, growing up, and as you know, we got to play sports our entire life and growing up, and everybody always told us you play sports, you stay in shape, and all this, and it pays off in the end. And I couldn't think of that to be more of a lie because my body, as a 29-year-old, is just destroyed. My ankles pop, my knees pop. You already know my knee's been messed up.
Man, blew your knee out.
Shoulder tendon out. Both my shoulders are messed up. And I'm just they lied to me. They told me athletics was going to make me feel young, and I don't feel more old than I do right now.
Yeah, athletics in all reality is just essentially in that, that young level of popularity aspect, because I'm sure your parents know at an early age if you're going to be able to make it to the professionals or not. And that's got to be early on, Jimmy's 6'8". He's probably not making the NBA. Actually, I know he's not making the NBA. So they had us do these these sports, I really think just to get us out the house more. If you think about it, it was more like, oh, who wants to come home? I mean, after now working 40 hours, the last thing you want to come home to is the kids complaining, everyone crying. You're like, you know what? Maybe you should do some sports. So then you got an extra hour and a half, 2 hours, inevitably the whole summer you're going to have off if the kid does travel sports. So I think that was mostly just like a long con by parents to get the kids to basically experience it. They always say it's about teamwork and camaraderie and, like, how to work together. You're going to use it when you get in the workforce. Not really. Not in basketball. Like, yeah, you pass the ball to each other, but at the end of the day, it turned into, let's get the ball to the best player on the team. You don't do that at work, really. So,
and that's speaking just like what I saw today, where people were talking about equal playing time for all your kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all for that. Like, I want kids to have fun, but I also come from a extremely competitive background. My dad was competitive. My mom was competitive. My sister's competitive. I'm competitive. And if I'm not playing, that just means like, oh man, you suck. You gotta get out there and work. And like, I get when people say like the older generation, like there's no work ethic. I'm like, I get all that, but I'm also a little bit toxic. I'm like, hey, like if your kid is sitting the bench for the whole like soccer game or whatever sport they're playing, you gotta look inward. Like, what are they doing when they come home? Are they actually working at it, or like they just like expecting to go play?
Are you telling them that they're like nice with it?
And those starters, like they working at it. Like I know when I was a kid, I was working at it.
Don't think we're turning this into, when I was in high school. Oh, it's really nice because I felt like I was going to take a turn there for a second where it's like, well, back in my high school, you could check my huddle highlights. No, it's not. It's just that we're at the age of our kids eventually going to be playing sports.
My coach never put my huddle highlights on there.
A lot of the huddle highlights I see now are, you put your huddle highlights up to get a D2 offer from Otterbein, and it's not even really an offer. They just kind of gave you some money. So,
or you one of these kids with the sick edits, and like everybody knows, oh, they're making it to the league.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was not like that.
No,
I knew early on, I'm not making it to professionals. I was appreciative to college offers. I was like, yeah, look at me. But I knew all I was going to do was drink and party in college.
Did I forget I was on something? It wasn't Huddle because we're a little older for Huddle, but it was called like college something prep or college
preps, yeah.
College recruiter, something like that. And you would post like your pictures and whatnot. And I remember I was on there posting pictures of me playing JV basketball. Like, there, people were really looking at me.
I'm about to make it.
Yeah.
Put me on.
Like 6'1" post player. They're like, yeah, he's definitely going to make it to college.
State? You see me on
he's white. I couldn't even jump.
This is a choice.
Yeah, this is like, don't hit the growth spurt, man. And, I guess that can be confusing in the sense of parents have a kid who's extremely tall at one point, and then like, oh, Billy's gonna make it, and then Billy ends up evening out to everyone else's height and can't dribble now. So it's, I don't know, high school sports and what we're saying about high school sports is being in that beat ups tonight, eating those wings. We saw people who definitely were there from high school, early college years, because shouts out sobriety, but no waters, everyone smashing about 20 to 30 wings at that table. That's
and
not
like Mountain Dews.
Yeah, you're not doing that as an adult. I mean, you can't do this as an adult. Like, nothing against you.
You're not making it at home.
No.
You're driving and get the.
Mm-hmm. You're getting gas pains in the place, and you're not going to sit there comfortably. Those guys are laughing and giggling and frolicking around the place. So we kind of just, we got hit with the "Where's your ID?" and kind of we see it to looking over to people in full out dressed up clothes who got to beat us. Some man popped out a laptop. He was ready to sit down and watch them basketballs on 50-something screens.
Not even that. It was like he was on a virtual date.
Mm-hmm.
Which dating game? I'm glad I'm out the game. I feel for you. I really do.
Appreciate that.
But to have to be consistently on an app or FaceTiming people,
dude, dating's over. I mean, dating low-key's overrated. Like, as long as you've had someone for a while, which again most people find them on dating apps, but I feel like everyone's always talked about that, but when you go on any of these apps, you have, you're fighting for one person, which you're not even fighting for one person. I mean, especially when you're hitting an older age, you can't juggle 7, 8, 9 people anymore.
No, I mean, I look at like those apps because like you'll show me every once in a while, like whenever you're on it, and I just think like, what am I doing in that situation?
Dude.
because I got some weird shit going on. Like I know that. Like I'm not gonna say I'm ugly or by any means or anything like that. Like but I know I got some weird shit going on. People are like, nah, that's something a little off.
Yeah.
But that's interesting.
Well, the thing is, like, it's also like it's cool. Like you base it off the photos. I get it. Attraction is your first thing, and you read people's prompts and everything. But the prompt I wrote back in 2019 is the same prompt I have today. So, it depends on how much you want to look into it. But dating apps are very oversaturated, and typically it's with people that you aren't interested in yourself. Take it from me. The people that you want to match up with, they did like a podcast about this as well, about the algorithm for Hinge, about how they want to set it up for.
Yeah.
It's not, they don't base your likes off of who you like. It's who likes you back to give you more of a chance to match with people. So
it's the app that's supposed to be deleted. So
correct. And you delete it typically because you don't find a match. And you're like, you know what, I'm just going to stay single and celibate for a while. Big ups to anyone who does that as well. That's me right now. Like, why would I? Big ups to myself, actually. Yeah. But no, it's like, you can go on there and you can try to, it was a completely different game. I feel like when Tinder and all that stuff came out, when we were, right in college, that was the easiest thing. It was you pop up, swipe a couple times. There wasn't a Hinge. There wasn't a Bumble. There wasn't any other outside dating apps. To be Ashley Madison, but I wasn't making enough money for that. But you got on Tinder, you swiped, you found somebody, you went over there, you acted like you weren't there to hook up, and then you acted like you didn't know each other.
Those are the days too. Like people used to be like, "How do I get over there to not seem like I'm just trying to smash?" And now I feel like it's just like
you're already on Tinder. They already know.
Yeah, and old girls are like, "Nah, like I'm not even trying to do anything. Like I'm just trying to smash." And then like you got to go.
Yeah,
I got work in the morning.
Respect that. Big ups.
Yeah, but do you think COVID messed up the dating scene? Like, do you feel like it's gotten worse since COVID, or it's been going towards this trajectory for a minute?
I feel like it's hard for me to say because, during the dating scene pre-COVID, I was still in grad school going to bars. Yeah. It was normal. You meet people at bars, you're getting on Tinder, you're like, hey, meet me at a so-and-so bar. And then you had basically 3 years of no one going out to bars.
Yeah.
You had people not doing anything. Everything was virtual. Like, you weren't meeting up with people. You weren't like organically meeting with people. Like, it was a huge boom for all those dating sites. But the thing is, even with the dating sites having that, we were still under lockdown for how many months? Like,
I lost track.
You weren't going out. You weren't.
You know what I was doing during the lockdown.
Yeah.
I have a kid now. Like 2 kids.
You're not going out to eat. You're not like going to the movies. You're not going to any of those traditional date things that you would do off apps. You're doing some Ben Franklin stuff, man.
Cunnilingus.
Yeah, you're doing.
Fun fact, everybody. They give Ben Franklin credit for Cunnilingus.
The master box.
If you don't know what that is, Google it.
Google it.
Unless you're not over the age of 18.
Google it so we can stay monetized if this ever gets to that point. But no, it's just, dating apps are always going to be, you can ask somebody, it's going to be trash, and the other person will be like, oh, I found my husband, wife, or whatever on it. But it's really almost like mining gold. Like the amount of people you have to sift through to find, not even a piece of gold, honestly. You still don't know. You could find the most attractive girl in the world or the most attractive guy in the world on there, match up with them, and then you go and you realize you guys have nothing in common. You have like, which is the worst. Is like, let me have like one thing, or you find 1 or 2 things that you guys have commonality with, but your personality types don't match up.
Like, can you imagine you go on a date and you're like, so what kind of music you like to? And she's like, country.
I knew you were saying. I knew it.
Little Toby Keith.
Yeah, I hate to say that ruins it. Like, country music can be good. I'm sure people love it, but it's just not my cup of tea. So yeah, it's like you break it down into small things. You come home after work, or you guys are out at the pool, or you guys are like in the car, and you're playing music. The music can really ruin the mood of the entire time. Like,
I'm stopping the car if I'm driving and country music comes on in my car. That's an automatic.
Yeah, I luckily for me, all my past exes, none of them really were into country. It was always like EDM, alternative, indie type music, which is fine. I enjoy that as well. And that's what I'm saying is like, indie might not be my favorite genre of music, or all music might not be the best one, but you can vibe to it. And I'm not like sitting here like, oh yeah, like turn that stuff off or whatnot. But the thing is that could ruin it. You could ruin it if like your hobbies are even different. Like, If your partner doesn't like sports at all, that's not like a deal breaker, but it's also not
or
a positive.
They just don't want to go out. Like you're
you're an introvert.
You're a butterfly, and that's extroverted as hell, and you need to be out in the public. And your partner's like,
I can be home tonight. Yeah.
And I mean, people make it work because there are some introverts that are chill and like, yo, I'm comfortable and I'm confident where you are, and like, yeah, you can go out, but I'm gonna chill here, read my book, and then that extrovert comes back and everything's like chill. But you know, few and far between. But I'm gonna go back to music because music is on the brain now. And I mean, I want to talk about. I do want to talk about EDM because, you know, when we started listening to it, we had to hide that shit because people used to think we were weird.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Why are you listening to like that rave music? And we're like, what? Oh no, that was the wrong download from LimeWire.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be cranked at.
Well, back in the day, like what 3 a.m., 4 a.m. on MTV, they used to play like just strictly EDM music, which was like Avicii and everything like that. But they didn't even play during the daytime because everything was like always hip hop, rap, R&B, like, you know, normal stuff, especially from where we're from. But you weren't getting EDM music played anywhere. You weren't getting EDM music played in college. Only like weird people who went to raves and stuff like that listened to it.
I remember when we had the French foreign exchange student come, and she got hyped because I was sitting there like listening to like that.
She's on Swedish House Mafia.
I was listening to like Deadmau5 and then like Fisher, Bloody Beetroot, and she like freaked out when I said like I listen to Bloody Beetroot, especially like with them like being over in France. And she was like, nobody else listens to that. Everyone listens to rap. And I was like, yeah, it's kind of like a low key, like not a lot of people listen to it. And now we turned the tail and like, you know, the controversial Lost Lands that's going on in our life. You know, everybody wants to go to that. Everybody wants to go to EDC, and it's like people are starting to respect the culture more just because of the vibes that it gives off of. Like, you know, you just coming out, positive vibes, listening to music, headbanging a little bit, and
I mean they've done that with a lot of stuff. You know, you don't have, you know, EDC with 166,000 people there and Lost Land selling out with like, you know, almost 80,000 people, and then these music festivals that aren't, you know, like Bonnaroo, like traditionally it's like, you know, Bonnaroo is your big music festival, and then Woodstock back in the day. But now, you know, people come for EDM music. There are always going to be bad apples. There are people there to, you know, do the pickpocketing, the people to, you know, kind of just like start fights and stuff of that nature. But in the grand scheme of things, man, everyone's kind of come around it. I know I've been to EDC 3 times, and it is very, very harsh on the body. I mean, the music's great. Like, people are all there, but you do, that's the worst thing about Vegas, man, is you go there, you have your hotel. You know, let's say you go to EDC, you get back to the hotel at 8, 9 in the morning, and then by the time your flight leaves, your flight doesn't leave until midnight the next day, and you already had to check out at 11. So you're spending about, you know, 12 hours just wandering Las Vegas, which isn't a wandering place, and you've already lost enough money.
Do you feel like the culture's changing because people want to go to those vibes, even though they don't like the music necessarily, but they're like, I want to be at the experience?
I think COVID played a big part with that. Was, you know, going to raves pre-2019 versus raves post-2022, I want to say, 2021. You know, I think people don't want to have that whole, you know, that scarcity of being stuck inside and not having things to do outside. I think, you know, you jump at the bit to go to a concert or go to a festival, and because still, you know, even though it is some years ago, that hasn't lost people's minds. Like, people are still going to remember, like, oh, hey, remember COVID made us stay inside for months on months on months. So it's like, that can happen anytime because we have no clue. Like, you know, election year coming up, we could have another COVID, you know what I mean? Like,
have you seen people talking about that? They're talking about the last time COVID started, Chiefs versus the 49ers was at the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson won MVP. He's favored to win the MVP right now.
I don't reset it again.
Yeah, and like almost like a lot of the things regarding like with football are happening again that happened right before COVID, and people are like, "Is this a sign that like the next big plague is going to come out?" And
yeah,
I'm like, you know, I don't.
Well, I mean, they've said it. I mean, in the news, they talked about them. You know, it's not, by no means is this going to turn into like a full blown political podcast, but like when election years come up, things like this for some reason get more blown up.
I mean, yeah, everybody's kind of stressed out. Like,
but the news now is talking about the new COVID has like a pneumonia underlying tone to it, and there are a couple other things that are making it worse, so it's not even detectable that it's COVID until it's almost like in that later stage. So,
I mean, I think that's just crazy because we're still figuring out stuff from COVID. Like, people have long
OG COVID, yeah,
and they're figuring stuff out. And I mean, like, everyone talks about like, okay, you get COVID, and now you can just kind of look at like the common cold.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I just had it.
First round of COVID that took out, like, what were we, like 100,000, 200?
It took out,
people.
And that's
I don't know if it was millions or not, but like,
it wasn't millions. It did take out a lot of people, and even then, like, you're getting all the vaccinations and everything of this nature. But now, I think people are afraid that potentially if that happens again, then like no one 3 years of your life sitting at, or a couple years of your life sitting at home, really flew by. I can't remember a lot of that time. Like, I remember sitting in the basement playing video games and everything, but I'm saying like the amount, all those days kind of blended into each other because it's like,
I kind of enjoyed it because, and I think this is going to shift us into like talking about careers, the economy, and just working in this like day and age. But like, I think what COVID showed is that we don't have to show up to work 40 plus hours a week doing all these things, and that at the day and age of technology that we're at, like, we can figure it out where people can work less, and if they're in a comfortable like state, because it showed like the production levels went up for people as they're working at home. You're saving on time because you don't have to drive to the office, which is also like putting people at less risk of just everything, like getting in a wreck, anything like that, or getting sick. They're getting more hours at work at home, and even it's like, let's be honest, people who are working at home weren't working the full 8-hour day unless like it really called for it.
Yeah, but even at normal work, you're not working the full 8-hour day. I mean,
but you're acting like it. I know.
Yeah, you're at your desk doing it versus at your couch.
But I know people were busting out like 2 hours of work, and then they're like working out. I know people, like a lot of people, started their exercise journey, and they were doing things like they were going to the gym during the day.
Or working at home.
Yeah, or working out at home wherever they felt comfortable. And, they got that busted out. They were able to like cook dinner, meal prep, learn how like new recipes. They were picking up like new hobbies. Like, the time that we deserve as humans was kind of like given to us during COVID. And it kind of allows you to explore like who am I really, and like kind of explore like some different interests. I know a lot of people talked about like, I picked up yoga during COVID, and they still do yoga, or they picked up crocheting, and like they picked up these new hobbies, and now they have like that like mental health bucket where they can like empty it by going to do that, and they're taking care of themselves. So I think it's another reason why everybody wants like that work from home job, because it's great. It's fantastic. It's not stressful.
It breaks that norm of having your boss in the next room over and like watching over you. I mean, yeah, you're a Zoom call away, you're a Skype call away, but it gives you that kind of that freedom to, get done what you want to get done on your own accord without someone over your shoulder, or without you, worrying that they're going to come in the office and ask you, like, oh, hey, where's that paper? Like, do you have the paper done? Now it's like you're at the house, you're comfortable. You don't have to wake up, let's say an hour early to take a shower, wash your hair, get dressed and everything. You wake up, get the coffee ready, throw on some like sweatpants and a t-shirt, and then get on the computer and do the same stuff you're going to do at work. Like, just the other day when I worked from home, which I'm not a work from home employee, which I easily could be just due to what I do. Like, you don't have to be in an office to write a grant. You don't have to be in an office to, do a training, especially if it's online. It's mostly the older generation above us, so XY boomer, they need people in the office because they don't understand the concept of giving employees the freedom of going home and doing the job.
Because that's like part of it too. Like, they want people to come back to the office. Like, everybody come back, stop working at home. But then they don't change that culture. And you look at like Google, Facebook, Abercrombie, all these like campus versions of workplaces, and that's where people want to work, because you get freedom. You get to walk around, and like they're putting the trust in their company of like, we have a meeting at 11:30. We expect you to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And people are showing up. If it's a virtual, they're showing up on time. If it's across wherever they're working, they're making it on time. And it makes it so people like they enjoy going to work. I know I got to interview with them for Abercrombie for a little bit, and they talked about that. They said, we have the hybrid model right now where some people get to work at home, and then they get to like work at the office. And people enjoyed working at the office because it's a fun environment. When you have a fun environment and like a culture that people want to work at, they'll come into work. But if you're like horribly negative and like it's a toxic culture, you got a micromanaging boss, and every boss that comes out and says like, hey, I don't micromanage, that's not me. That boss is gonna micromanage.
Yeah, how did you hear that you micromanage?
Like if you're bringing it up, that means you are micromanaging the fuck out of somebody. And that person's the one that's destroying your culture because nobody wants to work for them. And they're like, this person's an asshole. And however they got to the position to be in charge, I'm still perplexed by that. But they are always the ones who drive out everybody. And then they feel hopefully they feel some type of guilt. And then
they question why the people left. I mean,
yeah. But then when it starts to the people start to figure it out, like, hey, maybe it's fucking Mary from accounting. Mary from accounting moves on to the next job to be a manager there, and then all of a sudden, hopefully it gets better. But sometimes it's gone. Like nobody wants to work there.
Yeah, and with Abercrombie did kind of have to start with the ground up, not so much for the micromanaging aspect, but given the employees, the opportunity to be at home, and that's almost essentially working them back from COVID to the office. Like, hey, we know that you were home 5 days a week. How about you come in 2 days and work 3 days from home? So it's kind of like, inevitably leading to potentially having them back full swing. But it also gives you that same touch of, like we've talked about before, you still get to go in the office and have that human interaction, see different faces.
Which people want. I'm one of those people. If I had to sit at home and just do paperwork, administrative work all day, I go crazy.
Yeah.
And
as
the reason why I'm in the work I'm in. I want to talk to people. But it is so incredible what would happen if people just cared about their employees, treated them a little bit better, and emphasis on this part because this is where the economy comes in. But if you actually pay, if you pay me a good wage, I'm gonna be your best worker.
You put out the work for the amount of money that they give you. Like if you think that you take a job because let's just say it's $50,000, right? $50,000 is better than $0. Absolutely. And so you're not going to, I would rather go, a couple months at that $50,000 job than sit at home with zero income coming in. And then, but when you do go to that job and you feel like you're worth more than $50,000, you're going to put out $50,000 work is what it is. Like if you feel like you're appreciated, you're paid, not handsomely, but enough to what you think that you deserve, you're going to put out the best work you possibly can.
And my whole thing is it's not even about, we have to pay this person a lot, but if we just made it a fair chance for people, because you're paying for your apartment. I don't know how much you're paying. I'm just gonna say $1,500. I know I'm paying $2,500 for mine.
In total, yeah, around there. After with everything included.
So you already taken that out, and that's not cheap. So I mean, just for math purposes, $2,000 for a rent. You're paying $24,000 a year, so you're taking that out of your check automatically because you have to pay that.
Yep.
Now you're adding utilities. I don't know what your electric's been like, but mine's been out of the fucking roof.
I got mine today, and I think, it was one. Yeah, I got my water, electric, everything. Obviously, the water's not very high, but my electric is extremely high, and I'm rarely even here.
No, you're only here on the fucking weekend.
I'm here on the weekends and a couple days during the week, so it's who's running my electric? Because I don't even run my heat. I don't even run. I keep it at even.
And for mine, we fixed it. But my HVAC was fucked up, and I think that's what was raising mine up. But I know I was scrolling through Facebook and saw people talking about it in our hometown, and I saw somebody paying $1,500, and I was I know your house is small because you have pictures of it, and you live out in the country, so I was maybe that's what's up in it. But Jesus fucking Christ, $1,500. That's rent.
That's what I'm saying is especially where we're from. There are 0 apartment complexes that aren't Section 8. apartment complexes, which those are obviously cheaper.
Not trying to be disrespectful.
No, not to be disrespectful. That's just how our town is. There is not a single apartment complex that is, cost efficient and also safe for anyone in our town. So it's like everyone's kind of monopolized it and slumlorded it, but you go to the certain areas and you're paying an arm and a leg for really, you start to question why you're paying so much. Yeah.
It's a roof with like electric and some water in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then all the other sketchy things. And I'm just like, they always talk about if they would raise the minimum wage with how everything is, and like they're like, we should be like at $27. And I'm like, before you say anything, because I get paid more than it, but I'm like $27 an hour, like that still is not a lot of money. And people are like, it's going to ruin everything. Like, we are going to die if we pay people a living wage. And I just, I have family, I have friends who are working, and they're like making like 18 an hour, and they're like, oh, that's a good wage. And I'm like, for what?
No, I mean, that's what our brains have basically come to is you see,
you're paying Uncle Sam and whoever you're renting from. That's all you're doing at that point.
Yeah, you're basically like, what are you doing in your free time? And one, how are you are you putting yourself in credit card debt doing that, or like?
Absolutely.
Of course you are, because if you're paying, let's say you're paying, not even almost a fourth of your money, depending on how much you make, to rent.
Yeah, I mean, it just came out where they said like, credit card debt right now in America is the worst it's been since the recession.
Yeah, people, you run it up because you're not making enough money to pay it off, but you still want to like enjoy things in your life. Which
corporate greed also, like the inflation. I'm like, how do we have inflation? Because
we give money away all the time.
I get we give money away, but inflation, the whole cause of it is we like the supply versus demand. Like, we don't have enough supply, but we have like a supply. We have enough, unless they're lying to us. We have the supplies and the demand is still there. Yeah. And like, it's been the same as it is. And if anything, the demand's going like down, because it's like, bruh, maybe I don't need these snack chips. Maybe I don't need these.
I do. I do need them.
I know you do.
I do need them.
We need some dopamine.
That's the problem. That's the problem.
Fucking broke.
I want a little sweet treat, man. I need to have the money to be able to get a little sweet treat at the end of the night. And that might, if you want to go to the gas station and get a quick little sweet snack,
it's like $30,
dude. Like $25 for a couple Reese cups.
People who are eating at Five Guys, like, I automatically think they're rich because
they own a business, own an LLC, or they're a CEO somewhere.
They have stock and everything.
Stock in the company, so they're actually making money on the purchase.
All their parlays hit every time.
Yeah, they're doing six leggers.
I don't know how y'all are affording that kind of meal.
They're justified. I mean, it's like a Five Guys burger is good, but then you start doing the cost analysis of like, is the burger good enough?
Is the burger worth that cost?
Is the burger worth $20 for the burger with the greasy fries?
Even with the fries, no. And
the fries don't even get super crispy.
French fries are my thing.
Mm-hmm. You do love a fry.
I do love good French fries, and I'm still like, I don't know.
It's not. You can't. They're like, oh, you want them Cajun? I'm like, not really, because
that's just 75 cents
seasoning all over the bag. There's seasoning all over your burger.
It gets even worse, because it's like, you want to add seasoning or anything, it's like extra charge, and then you go to pay for it, and it's like, do you want to tip me?
Tip me?
Because I put your food in a fucking bag.
You poured my fries in a bag, literally. Like, that's all you did. You just threw them in the bag and then threw seasoning on them, shook them up like a.
I did that, and I gave you a nice smile. Give me $3 extra. Like, what?
Yeah. Nah. Like, big ups to the guy on the grill who's really frying that patty and putting my crazy order that I've like mushroom, onion, sauteed mushroom. They're like, what?
And I want to say this now, because I get it. I get everything's poor. I like, if I go out to eat and like we're sitting at a table, 100%.
Yeah, give me the 20%.
Bare minimum tip you're getting from me is 20%. If you go above and beyond, like, yes, I'll give you more.
22.
20.5.
Yeah, 21. You actually gave her the change.
But like, when it comes to like, I'm picking food up or doing any of that, I just don't understand that tip culture of like.
Well, it's just strictly in the U.S. apparently.
I mean, yeah, it is.
According to like Twitter and everything else, like, or X, whatever you want to call it on here, but
fucking Twitter.
Everyone, says the tipping culture here is like, I mean, it could honestly be because they pay their waitresses and waiters over there a fair wage.
Yeah, they paid them actually like a living.
Yeah, so they're like, oh, why are you tipping me, you dummy?
Ready for this?
Yeah.
Ready for this? What's the DEI in me about tipping? So tipping actually came from like back in the civil rights era.
That makes sense.
Where the owners didn't want to pay the black employees
So
for
they
like
gave
their
them
waiters
tips.
and waitress, and they're like, whatever people tip you is the money that you can like keep, and that's where tipping came from. And then like all kind of other stuff, like it became a habit, and they started tipping anybody, and they're like, okay, we're gonna give this
Yeah, keep it going.
because like you're bringing me good service and everything. Then they started paying everybody, and like we're still gonna do it, and that's why when Americans go to other countries, we try to tip them.
It's like disrespectful.
It's like, bro, you think I'm broke? Like,
Yeah.
you think I'm working here because I'm
Yeah,
broke?
you think I'm wearing this Monclesi jacket for no reason? Like,
$3 back, bitch. Like,
yeah,
fuck out of my country.
that's crazy. I mean, that makes sense. I just passed my civil rights certification for FEMA today.
Yeah.
Did not see that act in there, but I did see the Stafford Act. But no, it makes complete sense. And plus, with the tipping, management can still pay what $3 or whatever it is to be a server. Like,
all right, I'm gonna say this too. Like, if you lose a lot of employees, like businesses shut down.
mm-hmm.
Businesses will go like a while without like a CEO,
Mm-hmm.
and everything's fine because they have other people running.
Yeah, run smooth.
And I'm like, what does a CEO do? Like, I get it. Like, there are some CEOs who are very involved, and like they're busting.
But how much involvement can you be outside of like lobbying, essentially?
Like they're just doing like the
face of
it, like the marketing, and
they sign their names on the signs.
Yeah, we're trying to find like avenues to make more money, but when like they don't do shit.
Well, they're like, our
bonus.
CEO brokered a $5.4 million deal with the local, this and that.
Like Janine from McDonald's came in early, cleaned the ice cream machine so it would actually work for the fucking day and for the first time in ever.
That's where you got to draw. That's where you have to draw the divide between.
And she got fired because she showed up like 2 minutes late.
Yeah, she had to take her kids to school. She had to take her kids to school.
Yeah.
So
CEO misses the whole meeting by a day. Nothing.
Yeah, CEO's on vacation.
We go give him a $5.2 million.
And they always build that up with look at his background, look at all the stuff he did to get to that point. That's what I'm saying.
Fuck the background.
That's what I'm saying. Is like they always and
we did everything we were supposed to do. We went to school. We did well in high school. We went to college. We got our bachelors.
Mm-hmm.
We went back to postgraduate, got our masters, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna make a lot of money.
Oh, making bank. I'm making
bank.
bank.
What my salary was for my first job out of my masters?
Probably
$36,000.
Dude, I was like the same thing with community action. I was working with homeless people and that transient population. I was giving back. I felt like a school teacher. I'm doing the stuff to try to help the community get better, and they're paying me basically pennies on a dollar. Like,
it hurts. And then like you find out people who are like, I hate people. I'm gonna work with numbers. Starting salary $175,000.
Yeah, or I don't know how to communicate with people. Let me work with numbers.
Yes.
Which is fine. Like, not everyone's going to be, the social butterfly, work with the community public like we kind of fallen into. But I saw, I think it probably was another podcast, like a Charleston White saying, the person who does everything by the book is going to lose to the person who basically scams or, cheats to get to the top. Because at the end of the day, if you do everything by the book, you're just another ordinary normal person.
Yeah,
like people are gonna jump over you because people are gonna take the unethic, unmoral route to get there. And it's just like at one point you kind of have to come to that acceptance of like, oh hey, he did get 7 people fired, but now he's a CEO. Like he has to live with that. And at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure they're fine. Yeah,
bruh, I got 7 people fired, but I'm making millions of dollars.
Yeah, and
I have a jet ski. I'm smirking.
A sacrifice I would make in the next life.
Bruh, like that's like some like Jacob Marley, like, okay, I'm gonna cry at the end.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and get empathy.
I lived my life, and like this is like the real part. Can you imagine living life to the point where you're like, if I had a medical emergency, I know I'd be all right.
You're amazing.
Yeah.
I get my eyes done today and it's $600. You get glasses, two packs of contacts.
Seeing is so fucking expensive.
No, dude. They're like, oh, well, you got insurance now. You got government level insurance. Like, you'll be good. Like, we got dental, health, and vision. How much would my eyes been if I didn't have insurance?
Like, you got good insurance.
They're gonna take an eyeball out of me when I almost didn't pay today.
This stuff. Oh, we don't cover that.
Yeah, they had already dilated me, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be $680." I'm like, "Let me find my credit card." Oh no, it's not running. Look, what are you gonna do? How are you gonna undilate my eyes now?
They know. Like, don't worry about it. You can't see. We taking your wallet.
Yeah, we're putting the blinding ones so you can cover.
You, sir.
Yeah, you've overdrafted twice. I'm like, what the hell?
Oh man. Well, we're gonna finish it up with, it's Super Bowl weekend coming up.
Super Bowl special.
49ers versus the Chiefs again. Couldn't be more annoyed. Who do you got winning?
So many things factor into this pick, but I'm going to say the 49ers.
Okay.
Because if you guys know who's on the defensive side of the ball, his name's Nick Bosa. And Nick Bosa's hungry for some sacks, baby.
So why is Nick Bosa?
Oh, Nick Bosa. The most red man on the world.
I think Nick Bosa takes it easy because he's half.
The running joke is Nick Bosa does not like black quarterbacks. He feasts on black quarterbacks. I'm not really sure if that's honestly true or not. It just they make highlight reels for it when it happens.
Stats wise.
Yes, that's why they put.
Like
it was like a Seventh Woods highlight tape whenever you see Nick Bosa out there getting the sacks. So, my personal opinion, this is gonna get crazy. I think the 49ers win. I think it's a low scoring game.
Low scoring.
I think it's like 20. Is 27-21 low scoring for those offenses? I feel like it's relatively low. Or is that normal score?
I mean, I think that's like a median middle score.
Okay, well let's go 21-17.
Well, I mean, you have to think about it. You're in Vegas, so we got warm weather. 2 quarterbacks who can throw the ball, 2 running backs who can run the ball, and multiple options. So like,
you look at the handle. You look at the handle. How much money is on each team, or how much money is like? Are you giving Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce the dub?
So that's where I'm coming in. I want the 49ers to win.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I wanted the Ravens to win everything, and that's saying something because I'm a Steelers fan.
AFC boys,
and like Jesus, but I think Kansas City comes and pulls it off. I think it's a part of the script. I think they make Patrick Mahomes that much more of a legacy, and I feel like with a Chiefs win, they also start talking about Taylor Swift some more. She just announced a new album at the Grammys, so Chiefs win, her and Travis Kelce on the field celebrating.
Propose.
They start. Have you seen like the
the odds on it?
Yeah,
the odds for like the aliens to take over the Super Bowl is like plus $100,000.
I'm down for it at this point. Like,
I'll put $1 on it.
We just need something.
How's they gonna pay me out though? Because if the aliens do take over Super Bowl, I really don't feel like anyone's getting paid out on that.
I feel like aliens take over, like, better or for worse. Like, we're not gonna do much worse. Like, we have 2 80-year-olds basically running for president. So I'm just tired of how America's being ran. But I actually think the score is gonna be 27-21 to 27-21 Kansas City Chiefs. I think Travis Kelce scores 2 touchdowns. And
Travis Kelce MVP,
bruh. If he wins, I think he proposes. And if he loses, he wishes.
I feel like, everyone's like blown that up, but it's just like in the reality of the situation.
I don't care.
I mean, why would he do it, dude? It's like that guy. Remember the Boise State guy who proposed to his girlfriend after he did the Statue of Liberty play?
Yeah.
And it was like the biggest moment ever. They beat Oklahoma in the, what was it, Fiesta Bowl, maybe? I think it was Fiesta Bowl. And they beat him, and it's like everyone's going crazy. Like, Boise State finally beat, an FBS, like, number 1 ranked school. Next thing you know, the guy proposes to his wife, or his girlfriend, his cheerleader girlfriend. Steals a moment away.
I get that.
Well, that's a different time. That's a different day and age.
Yeah, I just hope that he doesn't, because when you look at it, like, we were talking about dating earlier. They've only been together for like 6 months.
Dude, they haven't been, yeah.
And Kelce was dating like some black girls.
He's on he had the Catch Kelce show on CW. And I don't remember very many white girls were going that far.
And my thing is like, I'm gonna get hate for this from the Swifties, but like, I don't think her music is all that. She's a pretty white girl. Like, yeah,
she came and visited our hometown. She played at UC. That's what you don't remember that?
Hometown. She's from what?
She came and played in our hometown.
Oh,
whenever we were like in 6th grade.
I thought you said
no. I don't know where she's from.
She's from our hometown. I was like,
no,
I don't remember that.
We don't have any.
I feel like she's like any basic white girl that you could go to a club and see.
Yeah, it was just the fact that,
as far as looks go, she doesn't have anything special going on.
It was the singing. It was like you got in the perfect time for singing. Like Justin Bieber's carried his way all the way to here as well.
I will give her this. she's a real one when it does come to like promoting, being an ally for groups and everything, and like saying things like that. She put on like a lot of things for like Black Lives Matter. She put on, she's real. She's real for talking about like politics. She came out and was talking about, women deserve rights. Absolutely. Which is fucking wild. It's 2024.
I know.
2024, we're still talking about women's
reproductive rights and everything.
But greatest country ever.
America, baby.
So like I can appreciate her for that. I can, talking about appreciation, I can appreciate Kelsey for coming out about the barber saying he's like the one that created Fade on fucking February 1st.
Oh yeah.
He's like, bro, don't throw me to the wolves. Like, no, that's not at all
Mr. Pfizer.
So like I can respect them for that. It's just it's almost like the super popular athletic person in your high school who doesn't get in trouble. All the teachers like push everything on them. You get tired of hearing that name. No, I'm just talking about anybody.
Oh yeah.
Like Travis
got kicked off for weed, didn't he?
No, I'm just talking about like essentially like media is what makes it annoying because like they're just putting it in your face so much that you're like, I don't like these people, even though you don't even know those people, and that's it's not fair for me to like sit there and say like I don't like this person, but that's why.
That's kind of that's also what you sign up for with that job though. We signed up for the job as well, but people see it. We're public officials as well, so people can yell and cuss at us and watch our days if they really wanted to. It's just the fact that we get paid nothing compared to what they're getting paid to. That's what they say. At the end of the day, the athletes are so human and everything like that. Like, yeah, there's no reason for me to like yell at them in an inhumane way, but it's like your job and the millions of dollars you're making is factored into the fact that like you're putting yourself and subjecting yourself to danger every time you go and play, and you're subjecting yourself to like opinions of others. And some of those opinions are crazy, like death threats after games. Like, not that I've ever done it. I've never even messaged a college kid who's missed a free throw to not cover the last 3.5 spread.
I'm not saying I've done it.
You thought about it,
but I had some stuff drafted up when my parlays were losing. Players out there, I'm like, bruh, you chose to be a professional athlete in this sport, and you're gonna do me like that.
Yeah, you're making this game probably $20,000. You could have helped me make $20,000. You just would have made your 2 free throws.
Jackasses.
Yeah, but no, I think full circle, 49ers W. In the ultimate.
I hope it, but I'm seeing the Chiefs. So y'all let us know what you think. Get it popping. But that's how we're going to wrap up our first episode of
Yes. Appreciate you guys.
So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever the hell you are. Have a wonderful day, a wonderful weekend, and we will see you all
Yes,
later
sir.
on.
See you.
Bye.